Our third and last example for today says 2 open a big bracket z minus 3 open a curly bracket 5z minus open a smaller bracket 6 plus z close the bracket plus 8 close the curly bracket and close the big bracket is equal to negative 11z minus 11. This is quite bogus, but we can break it down in bits to make our work easy. And for us to succeed with that, we begin by opening up the brackets. By order of operation, we open the innermost bracket first, then the next, and then the final one. So our innermost bracket, which you have on the board here, is the bracket containing 6 plus z. Let us focus on opening that first. So we start immediately. All right. So to do that, first our 2 remains where it is. 2, open the big bracket. The z also remains where it is because our focus is to open the innermost bracket first. So z minus 3, open the curly bracket again, 5z. Now to open this bracket, notice that there is a negative sign outside. So you can imagine that there's an invisible one standing right before the bracket. Hence, we are multiplying the numbers and variables inside this bracket using -1 because we have a negative sign outside. Hence, -1 times 6 gives us -6. And -1 times z gives us -1z or -z. So we proceed. Plus the number 8, close your curly bracket and then close your big bracket. Is equal to -11z minus 11. The first stage is done. Now let's look at the next bracket to open. If you look inside, the curly bracket is the next. But we can simplify it first before opening it up. Hence, let's do it once and for all. 2, open the big bracket, z inside, minus 3, open the curly bracket. Now let's simplify. This is 5z and this is -z. 5z minus z gives us 4z. We are simplifying the curly bracket first. -6 add 8 will give you +2. So the curly bracket becomes smaller because we have simplified it. Close the big bracket is equal to -11z minus 11. Now at this stage, we can be bold enough to open the curly bracket since we have already simplified it in the first stage. So to do that, we are going to multiply 4z plus 2 using -3, which is outside the curly bracket. So we do that this way. 2 first, open a big bracket, z. Now let's work this out. We are multiplying 4z by -3. So -3 times 4 will give you -12, and then we'll bring down the z. That's -12z. -3 times +2. Negative multiply positives gives you negative. So 3 times 2 will give you 6. That is open as well. Hence, we just have one bracket, the big bracket. It's still equal to -11z minus 11. Now at this stage, we can also choose to simplify the big bracket first before we go ahead to open it up by multiplying by 2. We can do that right away. So we bring down our 2, open the big bracket, z minus 12z will give you -11z. Then minus 6, keep it down, is equal to -11z minus 11. Now it is time to open up the bracket. We are going to multiply -11z minus 6 by 2. So let's do that. 2 times 11 gives you 22, yeah? But this is -11. So 2 times -11z gives us -22z. Like this. Next, 2 times 6 is 12. But this is -6. So 2 times -6 gives us -12. It's equal to -11z minus 11. The first thing I'm going to do is to transpose the term that has a variable. So I'm going to take away -11 on the right hand side. I'm taking it to the left hand side. And the only way to do that is to add 11z to both sides. So adding 11z to both sides means I'm going to add 11z to the left hand side, and on the right hand side also I'm going to add 11z this way. Now if I do that, on the right hand side 11z, which is -11z, add 11z is 0. So 11z cancels out with -11z. So we are just left with -11 or -11 equal to. Then on the left hand side, I'll first bring down my constant, which is -12, write down. -22 add 11 gives me -11, and this is with a z, so -11z. stands down. This is where we have reached. The equation is more linear than it was initially. And now we can easily get our answer. Let's take away the constant negative 12 from the left hand side to bring it to the constant negative 11 on the right hand side. The only way to do that is to add 12 to both sides. So I am going to add the number 12 to the left hand side and also add it to the right hand side. When this happens, negative 12 add 12 is 0. So on the left, I am left with only negative 11z. While on the right hand side, I still have negative 11 add 12. Negative 11 add 12 gives us the number 1. This is where we are. Now on the left, we are not done because we still have negative 11 as the coefficient of the unknown variable z, which we are looking for. The only way to make this work out now is to divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown variable, which is negative 11. So I'll be dividing the left hand side by negative 11, and I'll be dividing the right hand side by the same negative 11. When this happens, the numerator negative 11 cancels out the denominator negative 11. So on the left hand side, I have just z waiting for me. But on the right hand side, I have negative 1 upon 11. Negative 1 upon 11. This is my answer for the last question. So it means that the value of z, which we have on the third equation, is negative 1 upon 11. This is how easy it is. I believe you have enjoyed today's class as well. You can pause it as usual from stage to stage and try working it out yourself. In case you have not seen our first video on linear equations, I advise you to see that first before coming over to this, as that will give you a basic understanding of linear equations before hitting it right here. As always, thanks for watching.